Breaking at this hour, the United States has launched a new round of military strikes against Iran, marking a major escalation in tensions between Washington and Tehran. The U.S. Central Command releasing this video saying the operation targeted military surveillance, communications, and air defense systems. While President Trump is warning more action could follow if Iran refuses to reach a deal.
We want a deal that works. We don't want to just have a Barack Hussein Obama deal, JCPOA, the worst deal. That was a path to a nuclear. It's the exact opposite. You know, I like on television, say, oh, they should have kept that deal. First of all, it was over. It was a short-term deal. But that deal was a path to a nuclear weapon. This is a path against a nuclear. You can't have a nuclear weapon. His was a path to a nuclear weapon. They were developing, during his administration, nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, there'd be no Israel, there'd be no Middle East, and they would have absolutely shot at us. So we'll see what happens. But we hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today, in case you miss it, in case you don't turn on your television set. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers because, you know what? They dealt with some very stupid presidents. I have to say that. I'm embarrassed to say it. Some very stupid people were sitting here.
The president saying this: Iran's military is a complete and total mess. Much of it, like their Navy and Air Force, doesn't even exist anymore. He goes on to say Iran is all talk and no action. He says they've taken too long to close a deal and they will pay the price. And that's our focus this morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Vanessa Broussard. Let's bring in Jim Paff with the Conservative Caucus. Jim, President Trump has given Iran plenty of time to make a deal, and they just won't. So the military struck again in the overnight hours, and they're planning to strike again today. Now, we're dealing with communists and terrorists. President Trump, again, I feel like he's given them enough time, and they just won't come to the table with anything worth collaborating on. What's your take?
Well, I think that's absolutely true. This is a regime that has to be beaten down to do anything substantive, and they're trying to listen. Their whole existence is an eschatological end of days radical Muslim philosophy that drives everything that they do. People that have heard discussions about them, they know that there's this talk about the 13th Imam. Well, they really believe that their goal is to usher in the coming of the 13th Imam, and I'm no expert on this, but I just happen to know about it, and bring a transformation across the world. So they have this radical view of bringing terror across the world to usher in this prophecy, so-called, that they believe that they're trying to bring about. That's why they are motivated this way. We have to think about that every single day. Now, that said, they do want to survive to be able to do things, and the most radical of them are going to go by the wayside while you've got more moderate voices. In other words, more moderate terrorists. I mean, they're still terrorists, but there are more moderate voices that are wanting to survive, and Donald Trump is doing a good job of playing them against one another right now. That's literally what he's doing. He announced yesterday that call that he had directly with someone in Iran. Remember, they were intermediating between Pakistan and the United States and other countries, but there was a direct call, or so Donald Trump said last night. That call came from people who are trying to hold off more military action. I think Donald Trump's really got this grabbed strongly, and I think he's going to be able to have success with it. At least I'm feeling much more confident about it now, while all of us have been sitting back saying, wow, what's the next shoe to drop on these people backing out of deals?
Right. And I just want to bring this up too. President Trump just put this out on Truth Social. He's saying this: the United States will be hitting Iran very hard tonight. At some point in the not too distant future, we will be taking Karg Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume control of their oil and gas markets, much like we have with Venezuela. So there is a post coming out just now from President Trump saying they are going to strike again tonight very hard with oil on his mind. That's huge, Jim.
Well, if they take Karg Island, then and they're successful doing it, then Iran has no hope of getting anything from their oil industry. Period. It is totally done. And Donald Trump already said that they've been taking oil. He just mentioned this yesterday in the White House, and they've been taking millions of barrels from them already. They're going to just take Karg Island and take everything away from them. I mean, that's more effective than just continually and constantly killing people through war. That's a way to get us out of war. For those who think that Donald Trump's become a warmonger and is controlled by Israel, he wants to get rid of nuclear possibilities out of a radical Iran. That's the whole goal here. It's nothing more, nothing less. There are a bunch of, things along the way that have to be done to get to that end, and he's doing them. But if they take Karg Island, if he's successful at that, then that is going to be significant. Now, that said, reports are that there are a lot of booby traps there. They have, and when I say booby traps, I don't mean like you grew up with as a kid, but there are real trap problems there on Karg Island. It could be a little bit nasty, but they probably can do it fairly quickly. They've already done some striking attacks on Karg Island to soften it up. And if they feel like they can get it and they don't have any major loss of life and hopefully none, then that's the end of the game. It's all done for Iran. 90% of their oil production goes through Karg Island. That's the way they have their infrastructure set up. So they will not be able to do anything with it anymore, and that will financially end the regime, or should.
Yeah. Well, this morning escalations continue there in Iran with the bombings going on overnight. President Trump just coming out and saying that war will take place tonight. Again, mentioning Karg Island. So we'll see what happens there. The Strait of Hormuz, another big topic. The U.S. military has been monitoring the situation there, has been turning some boats around in recent weeks, Jim, trying to get through the strait, and the military, our military, stopping them. The Strait of Hormuz, as you know, is a hub for oil transportation for countries across the world. So we're continuing to watch what goes on by the minute there at the Strait as well. And we'll continue to update everyone on what's taking place in Iran. Back here at home, Jim, I want to talk to you. The midterms, I mean, there's a lot of shakeup going on with some of these races. We're looking at South Carolina this week, California last week. Let's start with South Carolina. Nancy Mace did not get an endorsement from President Trump. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, as I recall, she had voted for the impeachment, one of the impeachments way back in the day, and that may have been lingering in Donald Trump's mind. I think, Nancy Mace is a fantastic representative in terms of what her votes are and what she, stands for in Congress, and she's very MAGA in her voting patterns. I would have hoped that's there, but Ralph Norman was running in that primary too, and he's fantastic as well. So you had a lot of choices there, and he chose against her. And it's sad because we've lost two fantastic members from the House, at least for a couple of years, and hopefully the replacements are good. Nancy Mace says she's going to be doing more in the future, and we'll see how that plays out. We know her here at the Conservative Caucus, and we like her a lot, and we like Ralph Norman. I want to see both of them doing something productive in the future, because it's not often enough that we get people who are really willing and able to do the kind of fighting that's necessary to take this republic back from the radical Democrats that are trying to overthrow it.
Right. And I too think that Nancy Mace had a wonderful voting record. She stood up for women. She says it's a part of who she is. She says she's a survivor, she's a fighter. And then she put out a post on social media after the election when she lost and said, I will never stop standing up for women and girls. So, Nancy Mace, like you just mentioned, we hope to see more from her in the future. That's in South Carolina. Also, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, I mean, you either really love him or you really dislike him. And so he picked up an endorsement from President Trump. A lot of people questioning, Jim, why he has gone against Trump multiple times, but he still picked up the endorsement, and President Trump seems to like him.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know why that is. I'm going to tell you, and this goes against the grain. The guy who ran against him, Mark Lynch, I'm not very impressed with. So I really wish we'd have had a better option, because I'm one of those people that is not in the least a Lindsey Graham fan and is constantly befuddled by why Donald Trump would stand with him in these instances. But I will say this: the guy that was running Mark Lynch's campaign is a real problem. And when you start, if he were successful, and if he were had been successful to become a senator, the kind of people, I'm just saying this as a former Hill staffer and kind of Hill insider, the kind of people that Mark Lynch would have had around him, I think, were really scary, in my opinion, too. So it'd have been a disaster. Not that that means I want to support Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham has been a real problem for MAGA. He pops in to pretend like he's MAGA here and there, but at the end of the day, he is he allows the perpetuation of the deep state, and he definitely loves sending our military all around the world killing people. He gets his jollies out of that, and I think we got to get rid of that sentiment in our party. We need to be Donald Trump, peace or strength. Okay, and like Donald Trump said, he's not a pacifist. And he didn't say I'm never using the military. He just explained that the other day. He just said he's not going out just trying to find reasons to use it. I say we need a really powerful military that we never use, or at least that we rarely ever use, and only in limited circumstances. And I still question, about the Iran thing. I have to tell you, I really have a problem with us going to war. But I know what Donald Trump's mission is a solid mission. And if he fulfills it, it is going to protect us forever. And I know we're talking about Lindsey Graham here. I get off on Donald Trump, but people like Lindsey Graham want to do this sort of thing all the time. And so it's good to have him gone. It would be good to have him gone sometime in the future. We're going to have to deal with him for a little longer, but we just need to bring in more people that are truly America first and not American military first.
Right. And that's why it's so important to primary some of these rhinos with good candidates to get them out of there. But Lindsey Graham advances. Nancy Mace does not. President Trump this week had another wonderful voting record. He is just, blowing and going when it comes to endorsement wins. 16 wins this week across the board, 0 losses for endorsements. So great news to report there. All of his MAGA candidates, or candidates that he's supporting and throwing his support behind, has won or advanced to the next round, which is the general in November. Oh, Jim, I just don't know about California. It's good to see that Steve Hilton has advanced, who is another MAGA candidate Trump endorsed. It was flip-flopping, on election night. He had a strong lead, and then he came in second, and then back to first, and then back to second, and then he dropped to third, and then back to second. But it took days. California, they have issues there when it comes to election integrity, and I just don't even know where to begin. Great news to report that he advances to November. He'll be going up against a Democrat. But where do we even begin with California?
Well, we don't yet. I'll tell you where we begin with California, and it's passing the Save America Act, something that another rhino, John Thune, refuses to put the effort into doing on an 80% issue. 80% of Americans, 75% of Democrats are for it. But see, the only way to fix the problem in California is from the federal level right now, because they're not going to do it voluntarily. And the principles in the Save America Act are absolutely necessary. Let's keep in mind, it's what is happening right now in California. But before I dig into precisely what took place in LA, because it wasn't so much they were going after Steve Hilton. I think actually it was the unions in LA wanting Nithya Raman to win. And I predict that they're going to get out and back her. I don't think that Karen Bass is going to get the support that that she thinks she's going to get, than that people are predicting. I think they wanted the socialist Nithya Raman. I think they know Karen Bass is a problem, but Nithya Raman's not going to do any better. But you've got these 6-figure making unionists in the government there in LA, they don't want to lose the gravy chain. Think about this. The lady who did not fill the reservoirs back when the Palisades fire was going on, she makes $750,000 a year as a government employee. When Anthony Fauci was still working for the federal government, he was the highest paid person in the federal government, and he made, I think, something like $460,000 a year. I mean, this is obscene. The scam that's going on in LA. I think that's ultimately what was being fought for, and they weren't focusing on Steve Hilton. They feel like that they can win no matter who's there. They're going after Karen Bass, and they definitely didn't want Spencer Pratt to be a wild card. But that said, you're going to continue to hear from Gavin Newsom and everyone else, hey, we just take the time to count the votes to make sure we get it right. And that's not true at all. The system in California, what is allowed under their law is fraud almost everywhere else in the country. The way that they gather ballots, the fact that you've got unions going out electioneering at the doorstep of someone receiving a ballot. You just heard one of the unions, their whole process. Hey, we can help you fill out the ballot. And they train their people to do this right at that doorstep. But not only that, you've got many, it's been well documented, there are many addresses of abandoned properties that have dozen or two people registered to vote there. What do you think the unions are doing there? They're waiting for the mail truck to show up, and so they can pick up those ballots and do something with them. I guarantee you that's going on at some level, however big. But the other way to deal with this is what Donald Trump was just talked about yesterday in an executive order he signed, where they are not going to allow the post office to deliver mail ballots if those states don't turn over their voter rolls. And I think that that's a powerful move. You're going to see, obviously, people going to court over it. But these are the methodologies we need to use to stop these worse than third world elections that we have in California. I follow stuff going on in Brazil. I know the former president's family. I know a lot of members of Congress down there and exiled conservative journalists from there. And so I'm deeply involved there. They've got a screwy system that I think stole the election from Jair Bolsonaro, but they've got computer vote machines. What happens in California is much worse than that, and it's all in their law. So we got to change that around from the federal level. We got to do it quick.
Absolutely. And John Thune and the congressmen and women there in Washington are just dragging their feet. We'll talk about that more here in just a little bit on the show. But California, yes, they definitely did not want Spencer Pratt to advance. And I just don't know where he goes from here. Like, what does he do? What is his plans now? He's been very quiet on social media, but we've all come to know Spencer Pratt. We knew him years ago from his reality show that he was on, Laguna Beach in the Hills. And then he comes out after the Palisades fire when his family's home was destroyed by that fire. He's gone to Washington to fight for the families, the entire area of Pacific Palisades. And then he's tired of the corruption and the homelessness and the drug problems and the crime in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. So he runs for mayor, and he just took off, Jim. Like, people love Spencer Pratt. And I think this scared the mob in California that's running the state and the cities there. And they made sure that he wasn't going to advance.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does do, because he was obviously highly motivated about this opportunity to point out the destruction that Karen Bass had caused. And so what does he grab onto for now? I know that Steve Hilton was out there trying to encourage him to be involved in his campaign. It's going to be interesting. If he does, I think that's helpful. But would he have the same motivation? I mean, what is really pure and wonderful about Spencer Pratt is he just wanted to save the city. He just wanted to make things better. He wanted to turn out of office the people who were destroying the area that he grew up in and loved. And to be candid, as much as, people like us that don't live in California berate the state, LA was actually an amazing city for many, many years. And it certainly had its problems. You had Watts and you had the Watts riots in the 1960s. But overall, that city was always a wonderful place for people to go from all over the country. That's just not the case anymore. You don't want to be anywhere near almost every part of that city anymore because Democrats have destroyed it. And that was his vision, is to return that. His videos showed that. So I think that that's where he's focused. I will be surprised if he gets involved elsewhere. He certainly, I think he was quite honest when he said, "I'm not a politician. I'm just trying to turn things around here." And I think ultimately that's what's going to play out. And without that energy, I mean, I think Republicans and anyone of goodwill needs the same energy that he had and to learn from that. So if there were a way for him to be able to do that and have a heart behind it, then that'd be great. But I think uniquely what Spencer Pratt did about LA is what made that great, because it was about this one mission that he had that frankly I think Democrats stole from him.
I believe it. I mean, I hope he has a plan moving forward, which I'm sure he does. He's a very intelligent man and he has a great team behind him. But we'll see more from Spencer Pratt. I just have a great feeling, Jim. This is not the end of his career when it comes to politics. But yes, I mean, he's not a career politician. He's just someone who wanted to save his city. And we saw this with President Trump. He was not a career politician. He was just someone who wanted to save this country. And that's where Americans are heading. They want somebody who's real, who's one of us, and want to get in there in office and do the right thing. Let's talk about the Conservative Caucus. I want people to go to your website because we are inching closer day by day to the midterms in November. Time is flying. I can't even believe we're almost halfway through June now. But November will be here before we know it. I want people to help the cause with the Conservative Caucus. So tell us how people can join in and get in on this movement.
Well, we're going to be looking at doing work all over the country leading into November to try to advance an American agenda, a MAGA agenda all over the country. And we'll be announcing things that we do there. And that's why you want to go to theconservativecaucus.com. Our mission is to stand up for the liberty that was granted Americans from our founding fathers, to reassert the Constitution as the guiding principle for how we run government, and to absolutely destroy the effort of the Democrats to overthrow this great American republic that the great men in our founding had the vision to put together. So if you go to theconservativecaucus.com, let us know if you'd like to know more about it. You can definitely follow everything that we're doing there.
Sounds good. Jim, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for stopping by today.
Great to see you, Vanessa. Thank you.
Well, President Trump has now signed the Secure America Act into law. Promises made, promises kept. This law fully funds the Department of Homeland Security through the end of his term. It gives ICE and Border Patrol the necessary resources to continue deporting criminal illegal aliens while keeping our neighborhoods safe.
This morning, I'm thrilled to sign the Secure America Act to immediately and fully fund the Department of Homeland Security through the end of my term. So we won't have that to be talking about anymore, Lisa.
No, we will not, sir.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are, they're heroes, what they have to go through to keep us safe, the support and resources they need to defend our borders, protect our homeland, and to keep America safe.
Not one Democrat voted for the funding bill. Not one. Our Allison Steinberg caught up with Representative Summer Lee, who says she's protecting illegal aliens because it's part of her moral code.
Well, I just want to talk to you. You're here fighting for justice for ICE detainees. Can you tell us, many Americans are concerned that members of Congress, including yourself, are fighting harder for, these ICE detainees than actual Americans who are experiencing crime as a result of illegal aliens.
Is there a question?
Well, why? Why are you doing that?
Oh, because I believe in our Constitution. I think that is important. I think that most Americans, when they're not indoctrinated by right-wing talking points, recognize that an infringement on our Constitution means that they will also infringe your rights. So what we're actually saying is, and what I'm actually fighting for, is that if ICE can, for instance, profile somebody because of their race or their religion or their accent, or if they can pull people off the streets and infringe upon their constitutional rights, then that means that they can also infringe upon yours. It means that you are not safe as an American because our constitutional fail-safes are failing. So what I actually want to do is to restore our actual constitutional principles, that people in this country have a right to free speech, or they have a right to protest. They have a right for instance, to not necessarily just be seized by ICE agents or police without due process of law. All of those things are constitutional provisions, which means that I am every day fighting for Americans, whatever or however that American got here, however long that American has been here.
So is it in the Constitution to protect illegal aliens who entered this country?
I think actually it's actually just in my moral code to do that. So that's extra. So as a Christian, I believe that it is my responsibility to protect the rights of all people. I believe that that's what Christ would do because it's what he did. So he demonstrated to us how we should treat other human beings. He said, do unto these, surely what you have done unto the least of these, you have done unto me. So if you have not fed someone who's been hungry, or if you've not clothed somebody who is naked, or if you have not freed somebody who is falsely imprisoned, then you have done poorly unto Christ. And that's actually where I come from. So that's not a constitutional provision. That's just my God. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
The legislation provides $70 billion to DHS through 2029. $38 billion for ICE, $26 billion for Customs and Border Patrol, and $5 billion for DHS operations. But you know what hasn't passed? I'll give you a moment to answer that. Guess what hasn't passed? Here's a clue. It's on your screen right there. The Save America Act. Legislation that would require proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. And it would require states to remove illegals from voter rolls. But Congress isn't worried about that. We are, but they don't seem to be. Here's Allison Steinberg again asking Republicans and Democrats alike, what's taking so long?
Hi, Congressman. Allison Steinberg, LINDELLTV. Just curious to get your thoughts on the latest developments with the Save America Act. President Trump has now appointed Lindsey Graham to get this done. Do you think he can be trusted to get it across the finish line?
I mean, right now, you got to get 51 votes to do anything. So that's going to be the question. I believe that the filibuster, they ought to require the talking, not the 60 vote threshold. So we'll see what they can do, but they need to move it. Just get it done. I mean, they could have done it if they'd have moved it a few months ago. So we'll see if they do.
Question. You have here on your Twitter page, your X page, the right to vote is precious, almost sacred, but you voted against the Save America Act. Just curious to get your thoughts on why you would vote against the Save America Act when it literally secures American elections.
Oh, please.
What?
It does not do that.
How
What the
so?
Save American Act does is it requires, in order to get a ballot, a passport or a driver's license. And I have lots of constituents that don't have a passport and can't afford $150 to have a passport. It's unacceptable. Save America Act is not saving America. It's sending it into depression.
Don't we need to secure elections, though?
And lack of democracy.
Well, look at what's
You
happening
asked me about it, I answered.
and look at what's happening in California. There's literally people being paid to vote illegally in the election. Thank you, Congresswoman.
The House passed the legislation, but Senate Republicans have not been able to secure enough votes to advance it, and several recent efforts to revive it have failed. Also on the Hill, Act Blue CEO Regina Wallace-Jones appeared before the House Administration Committee, and she repeatedly invoked her Fifth Amendment right against all questions rather than answer any questions from lawmakers. Republicans are investigating allegations involving Act Blue's donor verification practices, including questions about whether foreign donations were screened and whether Congress was misled about fraud safeguards. Here's Jones staying mum.
Ms. Wallace-Jones, in 2023, I sent you this letter with 5 straightforward questions with a goal of confirming that foreign funds are not in our elections and that Act Blue had adequate fraud prevention measures in place. You replied a month later with a 4-page letter describing your fraud prevention policies and procedures that you had in place at Act Blue. But according to the New York Times, your response to this committee may have been false and misleading. Ms. Wallace-Jones, when you signed this letter to me, did you believe that this letter was false and misleading?
On the advice of my counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Ms. Wallace-Jones, before you sent this letter, did you believe, was it brought to your attention that this letter that you sent me was false and misleading?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Well, I think it's important for everybody here to know that according to the New York Times, you've been aware for quite a while that the response you made was likely false or misleading. Did you ever consider correcting the record for this committee when it was brought to your attention that your letter to me was false and misleading?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to the attorney-client privilege and my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
It's pretty interesting. So now you're following the advice of your legal counsel, but you didn't when they warned you that your letter to me was false and misleading.
Congress says the investigation will continue and that they will seek additional documents and testimony. Republicans have been investigating Act Blue since 2023. Also, the investigation into Dr. Fauci continues on Capitol Hill as well. Anthony Fauci has now been referred for prosecution multiple times over allegations ranging from misleading Congress to his handling of federal records. Here's more from Rand Paul with our Kara Castronova.
Hey everybody, Kara with LINDELLTV here with Senator Rand Paul, who, by the way, I just want to let you know your dad is my favorite, one of my favorites of all time. We're here outside the Children's Health Defense Forum on the vaccine, and you're talking a lot about Fauci, I heard in there, and how you feel like there should be prosecutions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what you found?
You know, we've referred Fauci twice under the Biden administration for prosecution. We've now referred him twice under the Trump administration. We think one of the bits of leverage we have on him now is that two people have been indicted. David Morenz has been indicted for invading FOIAs and Freedom of Information. And then there's another gentleman, Vincent Munster, was bringing in dangerous viruses illegally. We think they both might have information on Anthony Fauci that could be given up on this. We also have uncovered information that Anthony Fauci was exchanging emails with people saying, hey, read this and then destroy it. It's illegal to destroy federal communications about your job. So we think that there are several instances, both lying to Congress, which he lied to me about the gain of function research, and also about telling us that, about freedom of information as well and destroying records.
Would they be able to get past that pardon?
That's a question. And there's never ever been a pardon that was given for no specific crime and over a long period of time. The only way you'd ever know is to take it to court. They might be hesitant to take it to court thinking they won't win. I am not expert enough to say whether they'd win or lose. It's a tough battle. But I think there is a question whether you can pardon somebody for a crime that is not specified. So I think there's at least a chance. And I think this is important enough to get the truth out about Anthony Fauci that I hope it happens. I got to run. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Senator.
The American people, we deserve answers. Many believe the COVID era was a big scheme. We'll wait and see if anything happens just another day in Washington. When we come back, celebrating over 5 decades of singing and songwriting, John Ford Coley joins us with a new single out. We'll talk about that and much more with him when we come back. Stay with us.
I'm not sure why I called, but guess I really just wanted to
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the junk mail and the robocalls and everything else, it honestly feels like they break the system just to confuse us. Well, that's why I partnered and working with Chapter. They're independent, and they don't work for big insurance. They work for us. In fact, they're the only advisor that compares every single plan nationwide to find what actually fits your needs. If you're on the right plan, they tell you. If you're not, they're going to help you switch. And it's completely free. Just last year, seniors saved about $1,100 by finding a better plan with Chapter. So call Chapter at 234-LINDELL or go to askchapter.org/Lindell. You know, most people think water's just about filtration, but in reality, it's about balance. What gets removed, what gets left behind, and how the water actually behaves once you drink it. Well, many traditional systems focus on one thing, removal. Reverse osmosis, for example, strips water down completely. It may sound ideal, but it removes minerals that our bodies need. The Century Wellness System was designed with a different philosophy. It removes common contaminants like chlorine, fluoride, and PFAS while restoring key minerals like magnesium and improving alkalinity. It also does all this without tanks and without wastewater and without requiring a complicated installation. It installs in about 15 minutes under your sink, so instead of overcorrecting, it brings your water back into balance. Please visit CenturyH2O.com and use promo code Lindell for 10% off your next purchase. Mike Lindell here. The radical left and the deep state aren't just coming for our freedoms, they're coming after our money too. For years, they've been destroying our economy from the inside out with reckless spending, open borders, woke policies that crush our businesses. And now they've left us with an inflation disaster that's wiping out the savings of our hardworking families. They don't want us to be independent. They want us to be dependent on the government. Well, that's not going to happen on my watch. That's why I partner with American Independence Gold. It's a veteran-owned company that's helping patriotic Americans fight back by protecting our savings with real physical gold and silver. And right now, they're giving away up to $15,000 in free silver and a free gold IRA kit. A portion of all the profits go to 9/11 first responders and veterans at the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. The deep state can't touch your gold, so visit MikeLindellGold.com or call 844-714-4653 right now. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Take back control.
Welcome back to My Mornings. Today we are honored to have on the show with us singer-songwriter John Ford Coley, celebrating a 50-year anniversary and looking forward to more releases out this summer. John, good to have you on the show. You're a legend.
Thank you.
Your yacht rock style has been making airwaves for decades. Tell us all about your music because it's a big year for you.
This is the 50th year. Can you believe that? I mean, most of us didn't think we'd last, 5 years, and we've gone through 50 years. The revival of the yacht rock music has really just exploded for all of us.
It is. And, I'm can't believe 50 years already, just since I teased before the commercial break that you were going to be on the show today. I've been getting messages from people excited to hear you on the show, to see you on the show, and excited about some information that you have to share with us today. We're actually looking at a video from when you were on live with Kelly and Mark. That's an exciting appearance. Tell us about that.
That was 8 o'clock in the morning trying to sing. That's what that was like. That was a fun show to be able to be on that show and meet those guys after, watching them all these years. That was very exciting for me.
Absolutely. Well, you had a great performance there. We're looking at the video right now. So tell us about some of the music that you have coming out. We all know your hit, I'd Really Love to See You Tonight. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, this is the 50th year for two songs. I'd Really Love to See You Tonight and Nights Are Forever Without You. They were both essentially in 1976. And so Dan had recorded a copy of I'd Really Love to See You Tonight. And then they asked me to come in. How long is Dan been passed away? 17 years. So I think this was done in the 90s. And so I came in and sang harmony on it, and they're putting it out as I guess the official release of the I'd Really Love to See It Tonight 50th year.
I love it. Let's take a listen to that right now.
John, thank you for sharing so many wonderful memories and stories about you and Dan Seals.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you take us out with one more?
Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you? I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you. And I was thinking maybe later on we could get together for a while. It's been such a long time and I really do miss you.
So beautiful. You know, this song and many of your others are as big today as they were 5 decades ago. The new track will be featured on the upcoming album Dan Seals and Friends, The Last Duet. That's going to be out in August. People can pre-save, pre-order the album. We have a website up. How exciting is that for you to know that your music is still listened to by all of your fans 50 years later?
Well, the great thing about it is that I get to go out and play all the time too. I play about 60 dates a year. We do a good number of what they call the yacht rock kinds of shows. So I play with Ambrosia, Peter Beckett from Player, and Elliot Lurie from Looking Glass. So got that opportunity. Plus, I play a lot of shows by myself as a solo artist. And so it's great to know that there's still fans out there for this. I mean, come on, this is 50 years ago, you know? And you think, gosh, how many people are still out there coming to the shows? But not only are they coming to the shows still, but they're bringing their children and their grandchildren. So there's a whole new generation that's being exposed to the music that Dan and I did.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just thinking, you know, yacht rock is huge. I've gone to restaurants and stores, and when people ask, "What's the music that you're playing right now over the loudspeaker in these businesses?" they'll say yacht rock. It's huge for all generations.
It really is. I mean, first of all, the melodies in that time period were so memorable. So when we perform, it's really going down memory lane, and you want to make sure that people get to hear the songs that they grew up with, that they want to come and hear. And like I said, we play about 50 or 60 dates a year, so there's ample opportunity across the U.S., Canada, and even internationally.
I love it. And I'm so glad to see you're still going strong and still doing what you love and bringing all of this wonderful music to people all over the world. How can people follow you? I know you have this new part of this new album coming out in August, but you also mentioned that you are still performing at different locations. If people want to come see you perform, how can people follow you and get a hold of some of your music?
Well, there's still the website, johnfordcoley.com, and you go to shows, and it shows you a listing of all the places that we're playing. Plus, you can go to my social media. I had to drop the Ford because someone stole my Facebook, but it's John F. Coley, Coley. And we're always talking about places we've played. I talk about pie a lot. No politics. I stay out of your job. We're completely out of that
That's smart.
fray. Yeah, it's very smart, as a matter of fact. So it's you can go those places, and we do a lot of things, a lot of radio, always coming up with something new and trying to make sure that people know that we're playing. Plus, we play with Three Dog Night a lot. Ambrosia and I play with Three Dog Night. We go out and being able to see that show. You're talking about going down memory lane. That's a trip.
I love it. And I know all of the people who have been following you for decades are loving what they're hearing this morning. John Ford Coley, 50 years, big year for you. Congratulations, first and foremost. And also for everyone
you
at
very
home
much.
watching, go out and get his music. We've put up some websites for you so you can go down, download the music. Also, part of an album coming out in August. And he's still on tour, making stops, performing for his fans. Thank you so much for stopping by today. It was an honor and a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, Sunday is coming. President Trump's birthday, Flag Day, and a big party is being planned on the White House lawn, UFC 250. We'll take you behind the scenes as we prepare for Fight Night next.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
Welcome back to my mornings. Good to have you on the show today. Let's take a look at Wall Street, how the markets are opening today with a live look from marketwatch.com. We're really focusing in on the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ this morning, all up at this hour. What we're watching, inflation and interest rate expectations, they remain in focus. Oil prices are moving higher this morning amid Middle East tensions. And investors are digesting Oracle's earnings and AI spending plan. So that's what investors are watching today. But so far, so good as we watch an uptick on Wall Street. In your news to go, here's a look at the president's schedule for today, and it is packed. At 8 o'clock this morning, he held an executive meeting. At 11, he receives his intelligence briefing. At 3 o'clock, the president will sign a proclamation. No word yet on what that proclamation will be, but at 3 o'clock, he will be signing a proclamation. At 4:30, he will hold a policy meeting. And at 6:30, he will participate in a tele-rally. Then right after that, at 7 o'clock, he will participate in another tele-rally. So again, a very busy day for the president. Also make note that the First Lady will also launch Fostering the Future accounts at 11 o'clock this morning at the Department of the Treasury. That's huge because we also have been following the Trump accounts that's newly opened for families with small children or families who are planning to have children. Now the First Lady is launching today Fostering the Future accounts. Again, that's at 11 at the Department of Treasury. We'll have more information on that later on in the day on Lindell TV. Also, we are ready for this weekend. The countdown is on for UFC 250 at the White House. The stage is set. Look at that. New pictures just released from UFC. Stage set Sunday. UFC will take over the lawn for America's birthday, President Trump's birthday, and also Flag Day. It's massive. And the Octagon girls, they have released their attire for the night. The UFC posting this, all patriotic, looking great, decked out in red, white, and blue. So a lot of preparations going into Sunday night there at the White House. It will be another huge, historic event. And make sure you join us tomorrow here on My Mornings. Lee Greenwood will be joining the show at 9 a.m. Eastern. We will discuss America 250 and when he will be performing as part of all of America's birthday celebrations. Again, Lee Greenwood joining the show tomorrow morning at the top of the hour. Make sure you are joining us then. For all your top news headlines today and every day, you can log on to LINDELLTV.com, and you can also download the Lindell TV app. It is free in your app store. As we start to close out the show, we want to provide you our Bible verse of the day coming from the book of Philippians. The Bible says this: "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind. Regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interest of others." And that'll do it for us here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you all same time, same place tomorrow. And we leave you today with sights from North Dakota. Have a great day.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
When you read one news source, you get one side. When you read two sources, you get an argument. Read 40 sources, and you get the truth. LindellReport.com, the only place you ever need to visit for your news. From LindellTV, over 40 trusted outlets in one place. No editorial gatekeepers, no hidden bias. Just the day's news. Balanced, unfiltered, ready when you are. Whether you lean left, right, or straight down the middle, this is where you start your day. One click, one feed, one truth. The decision is yours. LindellReport.com. The news you need, the balance you deserve.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm turning 65, and let me tell you, Medicare has me confused. All the